The next step to what we're doing today, and the first part that you're going to need to turn in, is going to be a diagram that graphically shows your data. Here's what it's going to look like in general. Here's the short version. Is you're going to have a drawing that shows all 7 possible locations for carbon in our simulation. And you're going to use arrows to show where carbon was and where it went every time you rolled the die. This means that when you have multiple die rolls where you stayed at the same place, you're going to have arrows that start and end at the same location. Here's the part we can all do the same. The quality of these drawings does not need to be great. And that's good news for me, because I'm a terrible artist. So here's how I would do it. I would have soil here. I would have shallow ocean here and deep ocean here. I would have fossil fuels down here. We need plants. We need animals, and I apologize for what I'm about to do. There's just really no helping what you're about to see. This right here is clearly a deer. Okay? So there's your animals. I don't laugh at your drawings. That obviously a deer, right? Yeah. And if you don't think that this is a deer, you better be careful, because it will plow you right out of the way. It will just plow you wherever it needs to go. Okay, and then the last one is atmosphere. So we can put that up here. I think we got all 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so here's how we do it. I started with soil. So I'm gonna, and I stayed in soil. I stayed in soil for 3 rolls. So my first roll, I was already in soil. There's no arrow for that. But my first roll is going from soil back to soil. So I'm gonna show that with a little circular arrow like this. I rolled again. I started in soil. I ended in soil. So I have another arrow. I started in soil and ended in soil. I have another one. So this part, you shouldn't be drawing these arrows on your diagram, because these were for my rolls, but you should have the rest of this diagram. You can have it just like mine. Yeah?
Could you just do one arrow and then put a 3 next to it?
No, I mean, you can. It's not wrong. It's just that what I want you to see, and you'll see this when I'm done, what I want you to get from this is a visual of the paths and the patterns. What you'll see with all these arrows is places where it's more likely to stay and places where it's more likely to go. You'll get a visual of the odds, essentially. So my next roll went to atmosphere. So it went from soil up to atmosphere. And then there was one roll where it stayed in atmosphere. And then my next roll, it went to plants. And it stayed in plants for 1, 2, 3, 4 rolls. And then it went from plants back down to soil. And then it went from soil straight to fossil fuel. And then it was in fossil fuel 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it went from fossil fuel to atmosphere. And that's where I quit. You guys might have more, but see, you can see the patterns already, right? And I didn't have the actual sheets in front of me, and I didn't do actual die rolls. So this is somewhat misleading, but I did pick fossil fuels. I know it's really likely to stay in fossil fuels. So the fact that it was in fossil fuels 7 times probably matches what many of you saw. So what I want you to do is just take this piece, this diagram, does not need to take long. Like it's 2:43 right now. I think by 2:40 by 2:50, so 7 minutes, everybody should be done. And then there's one last thing that I'm gonna ask you to do to wrap this up that relies on your diagram, which in turn is built from your data. Okay, so you have about 7 minutes to get this wrapped up.